We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day, and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more, because we have an appointment with destiny.
4. This one, to me, this one took a weird route in terms of how we got here. Again, with the 8 upseeding the 1, San Pasquale takes down Vincent Memorial to get there. El Cap looks strong and beat who I had was the odds-on favorite at that 13-seeded Hilltop. So them de facto, they've already won the championship in my brain. But, you know, El Cap in the battle of Coach Reed's former programs, they barely survive a Mar Vista game. Imperial looks strong. Kearney drubs Brawley. So it looks to me, if we're going through all of this right now, is that you would ask what Kearney team shows up, and the Kearney team shows up. So I see them as them El Cap advancing to the finals just off of those are the two teams shooting well. But I'm curious your thoughts, because San Pasquale takes down the 1 seed, and that always has to be something that you look at. So let's talk about that first game. San Pasquale and El Cap. Who do you got?
I think I'm going to pick San Pasquale in that one, in the 8-4 upset. San Pasquale is a team that started the season really slow because they had a bunch of injuries. AJ Fournier missed a good portion of the year with a broken wrist or broken hand, some type of bony injury inside of the, in that area. And then they had to wait for Luol Tut to get eligible after sitting for 30 days after his transfer from Orange Glen. They got Tut in the lineup. He's, a 15-plus per game scorer for them. They got Fournier back, healthy enough to make a big impact in the Division IV race. And then the common denominator their whole season has been Christian Zamora. For 4 years, he's been a starter. He's been a guy who plays pretty high-level basketball during the spring and summer with Coastal Elite. I really like that trio to top the quintet that West Hills brings. I mean, I obviously we've waxed poetic about Chancellor Chapa, Micah Odell, Jason Wilson, Vincent Padilla, who have all had really great years. I have a feeling that this San Pasquale team is really good and getting better as the season progresses, and I think they have enough to get it done.
Little case of best ball at the end of the year.
Best ball at the end of the year, guys rounding into shape, and honestly, that trio is a really, really underrated trio region wide. In regards to the second game, that Imperial Kearney game, got to tell you, I think I mentioned this before, that if you had a chance, if you were in El Centro or Imperial County and had a chance to go to that St. Joe's Imperial game, I suggested, that you go, because as it turns out, it was a matchup of two singular talents who are playing at unreal levels right now. And that's David Scariano for Imperial, and of course, Angelo Ochoa for St. Joseph's Academy. And honestly, St. Joe's is a team that, had they cleared that hurdle against Imperial, I would have picked them to win the whole thing, because I think very few teams can guard Angelo Ochoa at this point. They didn't. And now I see the same thing with Imperial. I don't think there's a single person who can defend Scariano one-on-one. And I think he gets whatever he wants at this point in the season. Now, granted, Kearney getting Matthew Bowman back, getting Andre Gray back to complement what Isaiah Baker has done consistently throughout the year is huge. And, they earlier in the year when I watched them play against El Cap, I felt like that was potentially a Division IV final preview. But I like Scariano in this matchup, and I also like the fact that they get to host this game too, in Imperial, in El Centro, and Kearney has to make that trip out there.
The emotional boost and ride and wave of if you are Scariano and you are the singular best player in this bracket remaining, and you're at home with one more game to get to the finals, that does seem rather hard to stop that and overcome that. I also am all here for our second David Scariano episode of heavily featured. We're going to talk this kid into an all CIF selection because, damn it, we're the liberal media elites and we get to control the narrative.
He would be the first Division IV player to make an all CIF team in I don't know how long, probably since before the open division era, but it's
are very arbitrary and they're like points on whose line it is in anyway. They're arbitrary and made up and they don't matter. So yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll just play this podcast ad nauseum. We'll do a Mr. Smith goes to Washington because that's a reference that anybody that would
filibuster.
Yeah, we'll just filibuster. I will stand there and talk until you vote for this kid.
Love it.